You're listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast, a ridiculous podcast with ridiculous hosts that discuss ridiculous things. And any mention of board games is purely coincidental. And so, without further ado, and with a heavy dollop of shame and embarrassment on my part, I give you the Board Game Snobs.
Go.
Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. This is Jerry.
This is Enrique. How dare you?
Get on the side.
Yeah,
I
I'm sorry.
am Gaby.
You're going to have to slap me for that one.
I would never do such a thing. I'm not a violent person. I will become enraged, but I will not resort to physical violence this episode. I'm Gaby.
This is Enrique.
This is Jerry.
You said you had banter. This time, we're throwing it to you, Jerry.
I have some hot banter, but I wanted to talk about how recently, because we've been putting out so much content, air quotes, of our podcast, and there's been several other guests.
You mean we're just consistent?
There's just consistency.
We're not sporadic. We're consistent.
I have not listened to our podcast a lot, and I'm ashamed. Because
the Richard episode, I say nothing but high praises about
I have
you.
never listened. I have not listened to it, but I'm trying to.
I mean, but it's good.
So I have gotten back into trying to listen to podcasts as a whole because it just hasn't been convenient.
How does a whole listen to podcasts?
They are almost professional level comedians.
You know how I feel about history and trying to better myself, because,
No, I don't actually.
Standard alpha stuff.
Yeah.
No.
I was on
God.
Spotify trying to find a podcast to listen to, and I genuinely just go down sometimes the top most popular ones and just randomly download an episode.
And then you listen, you're like, why is this person popular?
So I downloaded a fairly new podcast called Archetypes.
Was it presented by Noah?
They are almost professional level comedians.
It was presented by a woman named Megan Markle.
I've heard of the name.
Correct. She is the Duchess of Sussex.
She's a Duchess, more like.
She's a Duchess.
I don't think she's anything. I thought they quit.
Well, they did. Enrique, do you understand English history and hierarchy?
More
There's
or less.
the Queen,
Yeah.
Dan Hughes, who
I
got a
can get
medal.
up. I was just about to say I can call a guy.
Dan got a medal for he's knighted or something.
Dan is?
Okay.
No, he's got a medal for
No, he just
healthcare.
works at night.
He works at night.
He's
That's
on the
what
night
I meant.
shift.
That's what they call it, though.
Graveyard.
If you say you're knighted in Britain, that's
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they
They just work the
at night.
graveyard shift.
And they don't have states over there. They have duchiaries or duchies, ducheries. That doesn't sound right.
You'll be.
A duchy.
We'll worry about the wording later. Keep going.
I may be confusing because when
I don't know. I have several jokes going through my head, but I'm not saying any of them.
I've been looking up groupings of animals, and I'm pretty sure a douchery is a group of chads. But either way, so Megan Markle.
Shots fired, Chesson.
Oh, no!
And Kroger?
I need to get back to Megan Markle because Megan Markle's podcast.
Something Harry never says.
That was a quality burn. Meghan Markle's podcast is like the number one in the nation right now. I looked up the podcast and not knowing what it was about because I just downloaded an episode and I proceeded to listen to it. And let me tell you what I was treated to. So Megan's podcast is about the archetypes, the word, and she introduces her podcast by saying the terminology and words that are
She's American, correct?
I think, that are used to hold women back.
Oh.
So I've already 5 minutes in, so I didn't know what this podcast was about. She then proceeds to talk about a word, and you know how I feel about
Words.
I
know how you feel
etymology.
about words. Yes.
Okay.
Like them.
Mm-hmm.
The word that she focused on was diva.
Diva.
And of course, if you're going to talk about divas, you have to have a diva on your podcast with you. Do you know who was on her first episode?
There's so many. Mariah Carey.
Did you watch this?
No.
It was Mariah Carey.
You're kidding.
No, I'm
serious.
No,
I'm serious.
No.
No,
No.
she's the first diva that popped in my head.
She did Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey. Look
Jerry
here.
is bewildered and amazed.
It's Mariah Carey.
I agree.
So, all right. So, Mariah Carey.
She-
Enrique, you're not from the 90s.
Okay, yeah.
Mariah Carey is Nick Cannon's husband, or Nick
Okay.
Cannon's wife.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey was a singer, songwriter, producer, actor. I don't know what else she did
Everything.
in the 90s.
Okay.
She has a very strong singing voice. She can goes up to like a 5 octave.
It's
Is it
incredible.
octave?
Used to be
Octavia?
incredible.
Is it
Octavia Spencer.
Stevia. She can go really high and it's sweet.
That's sweet.
And it's
Okay.
not artificial. It's not,
Doesn't give you diabetes.
it doesn't, anyways. So in the 90s, she was a thing. And I don't know where else to go with that.
Diva. She was a
She
diva.
was a
Megan
diva.
Markle was Megan.
And so
Megan, go
essentially, this podcast is Mariah Carey talking to Megan Markle about being a diva, and they're trying to relate to just people. And it's very fascinating because, number one,
ahead. They don't know how.
well, no, she said something that puzzled me. So at first, Mariah Carey says something along the lines of that she grew up poor and said that while she was in school,
They all say that.
a kid made fun of her by saying at random that she wears the same 3 shirts in rotation,
Yeah.
which I'm pretty sure you do that. I know I do that. You have like 3 shirts.
Yeah.
I had 4 shirts until Ben Maddox shamed my Healthcare Hero shirt, and now I don't wear it.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's all we got. AC/DC.
2 shirts and a skin.
There you go. That's what you got.
Basically.
She then says that she grew up poor and then says that her father was an aeronautical engineer
Oh, yeah.
and that her mother was an opera singer.
The poorest of poors.
So the podcast, which I'm only halfway through, was so incredibly dull.
Of course.
I could not make it through it. I'm struggling.
Quick question. Did Mariah make any sense?
You
Because
know,
she's been known to not make sense.
not really. But she's Mariah Carey.
Okay.
And it just got me thinking as I was listening to this, like, oh, Nick Cannon. She's like a billionaire.
Is she still with Nick Cannon?
Isn't she?
I don't know.
Look that up.
Doing
please.
it now.
Because Nick Cannon has accomplished what? Nothing?
Pretty much.
But he's married to Mariah Carey.
Yep. That's what he's accomplished.
He should quit. Just life in general. Just stop doing whatever. Change his
Perhaps Mariah Carey divorced 2016.
R.I.P. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So they got divorced?
They're
How long
divorced.
were they married?
8 years.
Mariah's single. Carrie, listen. If you
Mariah,
listen, Mariah, as Board Game Snobs
She's
climb,
worth several $100 million.
please like this episode so that our podcast will reach the number 2 spot on Spotify.
I think she was previously married to Tommy Mottola, who was like the
I don't know.
big
I don't know.
executive music producer.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
But-
He's like 20, 30 years older than her.
But you're saying Mariah's single.
She's single presently, correct.
Okay. So, Nick Cannon, your loss is Enrique's
She's
game.
53. Her other
is it
husband.
my game?
Because we got to get you lined out with Mariah Carey.
That is a
Because
hard pass.
you are the Nick Cannon of this podcast.
No,
You don't
no.
offer
She
a
was
lot.
okay. Hold
but
on.
people
hold
like
on.
you.
She was born in 69. So, and she was married to Tommy Mottola in 93. So 79, 89. That's
90
20.
Okay.
She was 24
Gotcha.
when she got married.
Okay.
Roughly, I don't know exactly the month, but roughly 24. So she's 24 when she married Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola was born in, let's see here,
23.
1948.
Shaming. Why are you age shaming? You're age.
So 58. So he's 21 years older than her. So she was 24. So he was 34. He was 45 years old.
You child, whatever.
45.
But
to
then she
24.
married Nick, and Nick's significantly younger than her.
That's true. She went the opposite direction.
So, see, like Nick won in life for a little bit there.
I think so. Well, yeah, they have kids together.
But
so
here's the thing.
she's paying alimony, no doubt, to Nick Cannon.
Nick is just, he's on Xbox. He's playing right now. He ain't
I would
caring.
be.
Enrique, that would be like if you just went about your business. Like we just went our ways for a few years and we got back together and we like found out like Enrique was like married to like Zendaya or something.
$320 million, Mariah Carey's net worth.
Do you know who's Enrique? Be like, yeah.
You know Zendaya, right?
Yeah.
Enrique would change his name to her last name, which he doesn't have a last name, so your name would just be
Enrique Zendaya.
Enrique Zendaya. You would, yes. And if Zendaya DMs you, You just take her last name and it'd be nothing.
No.
Wait a minute. No.
What are you saying no to exactly?
It's just like...
Zendaya, you and Zendaya would be married.
Are you saying you would not marry Zendaya?
No.
And you know what? She's so powerful. She would call up Villeneuve and say, like, look, this Timothy Chalamet, this Chalamet guy's not cutting it. And then you would be starring in Dune.
Quick question, though. Quick question.
You'd be Enrique Dune.
Why not Zendaya?
Why not? It's just...
Is that Spider-Man's wife?
Yes.
Yeah.
Girlfriend.
Sorry.
It's...
Now, not my Spider-Man.
Not my Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield.
Oh, really?
Is yours Andrew Garfield?
Andrew Garfield is my... Well, I'm back and forth
Really?
between Toby, but I really do like Andrew.
Andrew, have you seen No Way Home?
I have not. I've been saving it.
He totally, to quote Dumb and Dumber, totally redeems himself in being the best, most humorous, most effectual Spider-Man.
I feel like he did all right with Amazing Spider-Man.
No, those movies were absolute garbage.
God.
They were absolute garbage. Electro? Really?
Are you
your voice,
joking?
sir.
Sorry.
The
Sorry.
electro scene?
Are you kidding? Are you...
Like the last fight of...
I don't even know what to say.
Oh, God.
Because those two movies, what were his parents? Super spies? Were they James Bond? No, they were not. That was dumb. They had so many threads of a story in those movies that made no sense, had nothing to do with the comics. I did not like Andrew Garfield in those movies. In No Way
I can
Home,
understand that whole...
he redeems himself.
I
That's
feel-
what I'm saying. But this is the thing. That's Andrew Garfield, the actor, totally coming forth and showing me what Andrew Garfield can do. I am firmly on team Andrew Garfield after No Way Home. Previously, didn't care for the guy.
Jamie Foxx is a treasure.
Jamie Foxx. Okay, I watched. Okay.
No.
I watched just yesterday.
What did you
I
like?
did not. Okay, why did I click on this? Maybe I was trying to better myself. I don't know. I watched a whole YouTube dedicated to how charismatic Jamie Foxx is and how so. Things he does.
Yes.
He smiles in conversation. He does this. He does that. And this guy's like, if you do these things, if you do this thing, if you...
You could be like
if you
Jamie
look at
Foxx.
basically.
So you're going to be Jamie Foxx.
I'm the new Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx is in one of my favorite movies. Would you like to guess what that famous favorite movie
It's
is?
the one with the stealth fight. Stealth.
No.
What is it?
No.
No, Ray.
Exactly.
Ray?
Ray is amazing. Jamie Foxx is an actual piano player who grew up playing a piano in a club.
Jamie Foxx is a multi-talented, fantastic artist.
Yes.
And I agree with that.
I am pro Jamie Foxx.
He is a better Will Smith.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the
Why do you say things so bold?
He doesn't have the blockbuster record.
No. He was in Miami Vice with my man, a good Will Ferrell.
Colin.
I said Ferrell. I know this sounds weird, but Will Ferrell and Collins, like Colin Farrell, I get them confused. And so a lot of times we'll be talking about something, and I'll tell Gaby, this show's got Will Ferrell in it, and he's like, who? And it's like, no, that's Colin Farrell.
I would love to see Colin Farrell as Anchorman.
I would love to see Will Ferrell and Colin Farrell in a movie.
The two Farrells.
Yes. And
Directed by the Farrell Lee brothers.
And I would call this show just Farrell, and it just be...
And it's about wild animals.
Yes.
And Will and Colin are trying to wrangle them.
They're park rangers.
Yes.
Ark Nova.
Yes. Directed by the Farrell.
Yes. I love that. That's, yes. Okay, so... How did we get through all this? I don't recall, but we're going to talk about Ark Nova right now because we're running out of time. Yes. Ark Nova.
Well, we have at least 15 more minutes.
That was hot banter.
That was good stuff. Here's the thing.
I need you to admit my banter was fire.
Do you ever admit mine is?
I say that all the time. Literally almost every episode, except when you're
I
bantering.
can't actually vouch for that. So
you can or cannot.
I cannot
because you don't listen. Even when you're here present among us.
No, because I don't remember.
Do you think do you think his banter was fire that we just had?
Just had?
And if so, what made it fire?
You know, you.
But
can't,
we're going meta.
You can't.
We're going
look
too
at me
meta.
Like that because
Stop.
now Gaby's looking at
No,
me.
just tell
guys,
be truthful.
Guys, good podcasts don't go meta.
I'm not going meta. I'm just asking. You're meta all the time. I'm meta 1%. Enrique,
fine.
Enrique, was my banter fire? Please tell the truth.
Meta.
I don't like how Gaby's just kind
No,
of.
just ignore Gaby. It doesn't matter.
No, I have no sway over you.
Yes, he does.
I thought it was pretty good.
If you tell him, I will. Oh, hell yeah. It was
Fire
an interesting.
confirmed.
It was
Fire
an interesting
confirmed.
subject
Thank
because
you.
I am interested in.
Meghan Markle,
No, I am
the
interested.
Queen of Sussans.
I often listen to these podcasts that are rated #1 in the world, and I'm like, why?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you're better than Meghan Markle. I'm taking that stance.
I appreciate
And
that.
I am your Harry.
I appreciate that about you.
Ark Nova is a capstone game. It was the biggest game of last year, was it?
I don't know.
You couldn't touch it. It is now somebody's favorite game. You tell me whose favorite game was it?
Tom Vassell.
Tom who? Don't know him. Either way, this game supposedly is the hotness
Mike DeLizio's boss.
of the hotness. We have
Still so, yeah.
played Ark Nova. I have thoughts on it. I think that, of course, this game, which is incredibly too long,
Oh yeah.
incredibly too long at 3 players, possibly too long at 2 players, probably, maybe
a long solo.
bearable at solo. Ark Nova is a very long, tedious game with a rule book that's slightly frustrating to me, but don't let that put you off.
Capstone.
There's plenty of videos, 18-minute, 20-minute videos that you can watch.
40-minute videos.
There's an 18-minute video.
Lathrania, Games in a Nutshell.
Lathrania.
I guarantee you watch his, it's 40 minutes, but you will know the game afterwards. We watched an 18-minute video. We had many questions after that
Well,
video.
it's just
He
the
did-
iconology.
He did cover the basics.
It's
I will
the
give him
iconology.
that.
So in Ark Nova, what you're doing is basically building your own little zoo on your own little player board using kind of the Tetranemo, domino little thing, little pieces.
Polyomino.
And you're using the mechanics that's found in in my opinion, a much better game, Civilization Dawn New Age, where you've got 5 cards that are all your actions, and there's a little roll of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 along your board, and that's how powerful your action is when you take it. When you take that action, you take that card, you move it all the way down to the bottom, move the rest up. So if the card's at 5, you do a 5 power or whatever, which is either buying new cards, building onto your zoo, getting various associates out into the world to help you kind of better your zoo and getting more technologies, such and such and such.
Sponsors.
So this game is very slow because
Because they made it that way.
they made it that way. It's unnecessarily long.
Why is that board so long?
The board is very long.
When these two paths meet, the game is over. Well, yeah, you made a 7-foot board.
So the board is very long, and what this board is on each
The
side.
board is elongated.
Each side, there's one little track that is basically your appeal of your zoo, which is how much money you're going to get, and the other side is your reputation, which is basically
No, reputation in the middle. You have your appeal, which is basically like the tickets you're selling.
Yeah,
You're
and
getting
what's the
in.
other thing? Reputation?
Conservation.
conservation, and that's like
the good you're doing.
yes,
with these
you're
animals.
doing a lot of good because not only because this game does a nice thing of which. I'm kind of anti-zoo. I don't really like zoos.
The zoos are horrendous.
Okay.
That's what
I was testing the waters. You look like somebody who would be pro-zoo. I'm sorry.
How dare you?
Well,
I hate zoos because I hate
didn't
to
know.
see animals in captivity.
I don't like...
Sanctuaries and so forth can be okay, like if they're legit. There's too many, like Tiger King. No.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying because I have many stories.
I don't like zoos.
Okay. So you're anti-zoo. Enrique?
I'm fine with zoos.
You're pro-zoo.
Get out.
I'm okay with
You
zoos.
like zoos.
Yeah, as long
know
as
they do, right?
the animals
They
are being
steal animals
They steal them.
and then show them for money.
like
That's fine with you?
if people are like accepting it, then they can do whatever they want.
Oh, really? Well, can I?
If the
Hey, let me
masses,
come- no, here, no, no, no,
if the
listen.
masses are
Do you have a favorite cat?
He has 18 cats.
that,
Fun
that
fact.
like
Okay, let me
Wait,
come.
no,
a cat's a
wait,
cat.
Let me come, and I'm going to steal and capture all your cats, and then display them here in my front yard and ask money for them.
Like-
That's what zoos are.
like a stray cat. Yeah, you can take that stray
Enrique?
No,
cat.
I'm talking about your cat.
Enrique,
No, you-
no,
That's
no.
enjoying
Take my-
his life. I'm going to come to your home and steal it and bring it to my home and display it for money. That's a zoo. I freaking hate zoos.
Okay.
So, like, you have, just briefly, you have a lot of cats
Yeah.
that aren't really your cats.
No.
So somebody dumped cats off at Enrique's house. Enrique took the cats into the house. The cats got loose. They've been there. It's weird. You have estimate how many cats you have.
I'm assuming like 8 at least.
At least.
At
Every
least.
time I go to Enrique's house. A clouder. Every time I go to Enrique's house,
That's a grouping of cats.
I take a cat and I take it with me and I just give it away.
You free it.
And I come back and I find more cats. That's how many cats are there. Enrique
And they're all mainly females. So it's like
Enrique
like
is
you'll
running
be
a
gone.
zoo.
You'll be gone for like 2 weeks. I'll have like 10 more.
So in Ark Nova, what makes it the game so
Okay, you know what we said in our previous episode about Rearview, and it takes Dixit, Hong Kong, all these other games, merges into this, makes a subpar game.
right?
This takes, what's that? Civilization what?
New Dawn
Civilization New Dawn.
takes the main mechanic of that,
Terraforming Mars.
which I don't like.
Some polyominoes. I compared it to something and I can now forget.
Dino Age.
Dinogenics.
Dinogenics.
And you're trying to build these sanctuaries for these dinosaurs. Dinogenics is better. Terraforming Mars, nah.
I would say this. I enjoy this more than Terraforming Mars because I think Terraforming Mars is really, I've played hundreds of games of it. I think it's a broken game.
Well.
This is not so much broken. I think it does what it means to do. It's just you. This game to me, if you slap Vital Acerta on it, I would believe you.
Oh, yeah.
It's a long, dry, overly cumbersome game.
Except the components would be much nicer.
Much nicer. But I did enjoy the fact that these massive amount of cards that they give you, all unique, very Terraforming Mars-ish, where you have all these various icons and you have to pay for these cards and you need to have this type of habitat. So essentially the whole game is trying to build these various shapes and sizes of cages or pens into your zoo and then play a card of a different type of animal that, like, this is the type of size cage that they need. I keep saying cages, but that's not what they call it. But cages is basically what they are. Habitats.
Zoos or cages.
And then you put them into the cage and then you get money for them. And then to gain the moral points, what do they call them?
I don't know what
The
you're talking
conservation points.
about. Oh, conservation.
The good points is you release
morally,
the animals.
Yeah, I guess that's
you
right,
release
yeah.
the animals back into the wild. And so
But you gain conservation points without releasing.
the
The card,
Yeah,
remember the
you
card I
can.
played?
Yeah,
You can. But over the most part, that's what you're doing. You're releasing animals back into the wild. So it's not that the game is I want to make it clear. I'm not hating on the game because I hate zoos. I actually think this game is better than Terraforming Mars.
You would rather terraform a zoo than terraform
It just
Mars.
needs.
This game needs to be lightened up.
It
This
just
is a
need-
game that is too serious. This is your neighbor who is too intense, that yells at you because you're mowing their lawn too early or stuff like that.
It needs to be streamlined.
He needs to
tremendously.
calm down.
You have this humongous.
Calm down, Jeff.
You have this humongous board. You have tons of. The rule book literally said something about resources abound. That's why they provide you these resource trays to just put all your crap in.
And they abound.
Very nice. That's very nice. I'm glad they provided those trays. It made for a nice put away, and I'm sure break back out and play. As everyone who's played this game ever says, I would never play this more. Again, we play 3-player. I would never do more than 2. But for me, it's strictly a solo game.
This game, I would say also...
Because when we were playing, I had nothing
there's
to
no
do with
interaction.
you. I had nothing to do with Enrique.
I played one monkey card where I stole money from Gaby somehow.
How dare you?
So I sent my monkeys over there, and you hired Chad to shoot at my monkeys, and I did
But he
not.
was gone.
But he was done. Take that.
And this is the thing with a huge stack of cards. My own fault. I purchased a card that required 3 monkeys.
And you didn't have them.
And I did not have those monkeys. I had 2 monkeys. And for the rest of the game, I was looking for a monkey. We went through that whole freaking stack of cards. No freaking monkeys.
And you know what? Here am I with a barrel of monkeys.
You did.
I bought all the monkeys.
I didn't realize.
You know why?
I did not realize the monkeys were gone.
Because I'm pro monkey. Although,
Actually, my bad. Ape.
I think
They were gorillas.
Yeah, I had that howler ape. And then that one ape that has the monkey with the weird gangly...
Orangutan.
No, there's a nose. The one with the nose.
Baboon.
There's a one that has a nose that looks like
Baboon.
Squidward.
Yeah.
It might be a baboon. You're right. Some sort of
Baboon.
a probiscus.
Probiscus.
I think he likes wheat. So Ark Nova is not that great. Matter of fact, I would say that the mechanisms in it, I often talk about Underwater Cities being better than all of them. Go ahead and play Underwater Cities. Another game for which I would kind of compare this to Well, that civilization mechanic that they used. In Civilization, what I remember from it is that as you're using those cards, you want to wait. You're like anticipating to use this action as it gets closer down to the 5 spot because it's a powerful move then. Well, you're waiting and waiting, but you're tempted to use that card to take the action. And so that was part of it. It's like you have to really delayed gratification in Civilization. Well, in Ark Nova, that's not really the case. I'm just looking down at the 4 and 5 spot and going, okay, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm always doing the action that's going to get me the biggest result. So it's like, however my cards happen to be laid out, that's how I use them. And I didn't feel like I was making a whole lot of decisions, even though the game was super complicated. It felt like I was on autopilot, and then I'm flipping through a manual trying to figure out, what does this icon mean? What does this do? It's fine. I feel like I'm really giving a lot of hate, but in terms of it being this grail game for which you have to own, I'm fine with it. I'm glad I played it. I think it's better than Terraforming Mars. But if I was going to recommend something similar to that, if you like the mechanisms in that, Civilization's out there, dirt cheap. If you want to get something else that's really kind of very Euro-y, I would say Underwater Cities. The scoring in this game pushed me over the edge. I actually stopped the game when I read the in-game scoring because we were about halfway through. The in-game scoring are these 2 markers that go all the way around, and when they meet, that's when everybody takes their one last turn, except the person who ended the game, and then you score the game. And so when your appeal track, so to speak, your conservation track meet, you do this weird type of math and basically minus them from each other, and you end up scoring like 3 points. And you have to
subtract the appeal from the conservation.
Essentially. And you have to have positive points to win the game. And I do not understand.
But you have an in-game scoring card that would add to your conservation.
I'm sure.
As you're playing the game, you also have other cards that in the bottom right corner will say, this is the in-game scoring card. So it's going to push that stuff past.
I'm sure I'm been out of shape on that. I'm sure I'm just been out of shape, but that's fine. But either way, this game is way too long for the enjoyment that I got from it. Horrendously long. It needs to be an app. I'll pay $9.95 for an app.
I'm sure it will be soon.
Please do.
I will play this solo just to get a better feel for the game. The scoring does not bother me. What bothered me was how long it would take to get to that scoring, the final point. I don't like the huge stack of cards.
Thick.
Massive stack of cards. I don't like that starting the game you have a hand of cards. I can't play any of them. I need this and this and this to play this card.
You don't have any monkeys.
I don't have them.
Quit touching my monkeys.
I don't have them.
They're having trouble enough as it is.
I'm searching and searching and searching for ways to play these cards from my hand.
Fly to the Concords.
Then you can draw up cards, and you don't get to draw that many cards. And then when you have this break mechanism, where it's the reset of the round, basically, and it resets these things, and you have to discard down to 3 unless you have this other thing that enables you to have
it's very boring.
5 cards in your hand.
You're modulating better this episode.
Oh, thank you.
Can I say something?
You can.
The collective noun for bees.
What?
The collective noun.
The hive?
Groupings. No.
Buzz.
Bike. A bike of bees.
A bike of bees?
You know why?
Of bees.
Because bike is an old English word that means swarm or colony. So a bike of bees. There's also such a thing, a glaring of cats.
I thought it was clouder.
Nope. There's different collective nouns.
Oh, okay.
So, of course, one of my favorites, a Roomba of rattlesnakes, because I used to own Roombas when they first come out. And I really did like them.
They vacuumed up your
room.
room.
They vacuumed up my hardwood floors.
And your cats often like to sit on the Roomba as they vacuum.
He sat on the router. He liked the router instead of the Roomba. There's a gang of elks, because elks do such a thing called bugling, where they scream. Sharks are called a shiver, perhaps because they're cold-blooded. A crash of rhinoceroses, we know that. A horde of hamsters. Now, a group of kittens.
Hold on. Is it actually related?
Yes.
Adorables.
No, a Kindle. And it's because it relates to Kindle.
Because I can read it on my phone?
Is a word saying to give birth to young.
Oh.
So it's kind of a weird thing.
I wonder why they named it the Amazon Kindle then.
I don't know.
That makes no sense.
Maybe it's because it's...
A kindling of wood? Kindling?
It could be. There's a lot... I like the collective nouns. Do you know what baboons? A flange. Don't know why.
What's a collection of Sasquatch? Look it up.
A squatch, I guess.
No, look it up.
I don't
because
know.
I have a story for you.
Okay.
That we can end this podcast on. Court documents say Oklahoma man kills noodling partner over Bigfoot concerns. Fears. Did you read this? Did you see this? Hey, everybody. Did you see this? No.
When this happened?
This come out July
Okay.
2020. According to court records, Larry claimed Jimmy. This is, okay. Also, this all takes place in Oklahoma.
I know. I'm from Oklahoma.
They were noodling.
No. People need to know what noodling is. Noodling is when you're in a body of water, and a lot of times catfish or mudcats, they like to lay down in the very lower part of the river.
Of the mud.
So people often will swim, stick their hand into various crevices, holes, because that's what I listen to. Orifices. And basically put their fingers inside there until the catfish bite their fingers and then they pull them out. So, and they're literally fishing by hand.
It's very dangerous.
It's very dangerous because sometimes these catfish can weigh up to 40 pounds and they can drag you under and kill you. Go ahead.
According to court records, Larry claimed Jimmy was trying to feed Larry to Bigfoot.
Happens.
So Larry had to kill Jimmy. And that Larry believed Jimmy was trying to get away from him so that the Sasquatch could eat Larry. Records said the two fought on the ground for roughly an hour.
They fought on the ground and he died.
Larry and Jimmy fought on the ground. Jimmy died. Larry's alive. Larry's in prison. They were going to go noodling together. They were noodle buddies. But Larry also believes in the Sasquatch.
As one does. People don't realize, this FYI, this reason.
We live not too far from Ho Chi Town.
Which yes.
It's all of their tourist stuff is based on Sasquatch.
Yes, that's Sasquatch. They've seen him. I was a celebrity. I need to tell that story about how I met Sasquatch. I ran over Sasquatch and was a celebrity for a day.
I think you somewhat did.
I think I did. But I was the most important person in Bigfoot culture for about 48 hours when I accidentally ran over a black bear in an ambulance and they mistook him for Sasquatch. So there.
You know what Sasquatch is, Enrique?
Yeah.
What is it?
And I would assume it'd be like a very tall, hairy animal.
Do you believe in Bigfoot?
No, I do not.
Okay. But you like zoos.
Yes.
If you found Bigfoot and you wrestled him to the ground, I mean,
Okay.
I'm talking like you're walking out into your yard, Bigfoot's there.
There he is.
And you wrestled him down using your sleeveless shirt power.
Yeah.
You're wrestling him down. He's fighting you off. You're feeling his hot breath on the back of your neck.
I got you, Harry.
Okay.
You fight him off, and you've captured him.
Okay.
Would you sell him to a zoo?
No.
Would you let him go?
Yeah.
Live and let live.
Yeah.
Would you kill him?
No.
Why would you let him go?
Well, here's the thing. Nobody will
no.
believe you.
Yeah, obviously.
Nobody. You would come back and you'd say, Jerry, I fought Bigfoot. I would believe you.
Quick question. Why would you
Okay.
let him go?
Because he bested Bigfoot, obviously.
Yeah.
No, but
There's
why
nothing-
would you let him go?
Listen.
And not other animals?
If something attacked me, and as long as it's not like
Let's say he didn't attack you. Say Harry is just sitting there, nice and
Self-defense.
docile.
And the Hendersons weren't around.
okay, let's just say it was self-defense. I have
Harry and the
and
Hendersons.
I win. I have
I
no
already made
other
that
business with him.
I made that joke.
I made it before you.
Well, I was helping.
It's
you
like
make
I
that
have
joke.
made my claim. I have won this fight.
Nobody
It-
knows.
Like it's
Harry
it's
Henderson.
no one else's business of what I've done. It's done.
A group of minks is called a richness. I like that.
That makes sense.
I just don't understand why.
I don't understand why you let Harry go and not
Yeah,
a bobcat
I would
or a
believe
polar
you.
bear.
I would believe you if you told me you fought
Instead, you
Bigfoot.
want to put them in zoos, but not Harry. When there's, yeah, you just disappoint me.
You went down. I think if in ranking,
Now if it was a fight to the death,
I don't
it's just-
understand what the death has got to do with
I
it.
really think that you are no longer our audience's favorite member of the Board Game Snobs because you've come out.
it's all right.
You're pro zoo and anti Sasquatch. I think I've moved up a notch. I think I moved up a notch with Gaby's all beta-ness over there in his low voice, and you're in your pro zoo stance. I think Jerry's looking pretty good now. Yeah, everybody's forgiven me for all the horrible things I've said in the past, all that fat shaming. Yeah, looking in the rear view mirror there.
Gaby hasn't forgiven you about all that.
Well, I
fat
gotta
shaming.
go because I have to go to Walmart because I need to buy cereal.
Why you need to buy cereal?
What sort of cereal?
I'm a cereal killer. I like
Something beneficial or sugary for the
Raisin
children?
Bran. I do Raisin Bran.
No, it's not
The
beneficial.
most boring of cereals.
No.
Like the grandma of cereals
No,
is what you're buying.
I eat grape nuts
Of course you do.
with no milk.
Muslix?
No, I eat grape nuts
You
raw.
water? You
No,
put water
raw.
in there?
You
Exactly.
See,
What do
you
your
see
children eat?
somebody eating grape, they don't eat no cereal. They ain't old enough. You see somebody eating grape nuts out of a bowl with no milk in it, you know that guy's alpha. My gums bleed every morning so that I can feel alive.
And deservedly so.
Deservedly so.
Enjoy that.
You know how intimidating it is? People talk to me and they see this bloody... They see that. That's an alpha. Right there.
Okay.
All right.
Great
well,
nuts.
that's going to do it for this episode.
That's very... Yeah.
I'm your Gaby. I'm Wade. God.
I'm sorry.
I'm your host.
I'm your Gaby.
I am also your Gaby.
I'm your Mariah Carey.
Thank you for tolerating this episode of the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.